my whole thing was when I wrote Fast Like a Girl, everybody started dropping weight. They started getting all these incredible results because they were avoiding food. But then I was like, but wait, food is medicine. We have to teach you how to eat food because so many women specifically were scared to eat the wrong thing for fear they would gain weight.
The fear is big, man.
The fear is so huge. And so it's like, how do we give the love of food back to women? And when we had these recipes, I think you know this, like I hired 4 recipe testers to test both you and Leslie's. And we just went, go to town. Right. And the response I got back was like, holy shit, these are really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Like
I didn't know we could swear. That's great.
We can, this is my podcast. Did I not tell you it's my podcast?
Damn it.
You can say
awesome.
fuck, you can say whatever you want.
I love it.
Yeah. And then when they actually went to go take pictures for the book, you know, there's like food stylists.
Yeah.
There was like a team of like 10 people for the photo shoot of food that lasted 10 days. And every single one of them was like, oh my God, this food is incredible.
Awesome.
So I just want you to know that because I can't wait for people to have that experience.
I'm excited. I mean, I said earlier about, you know, we put love in our food. I got to tell you, there's love in this food, man. Like, agreed. Even when we cooked today, we cooked it, you know, like just for a video, and it was like, put it together and like, but there was love in that food.
Yeah, and you can feel that for sure. Did you ever see the movie like Water for Chocolate?
Yeah.
It's so
long time ago. Yes.
Yeah, and where they're like crying while they're making the soup, and then everybody eats the soup,
and then everybody's crying.
Everybody's crying. Like I think about that when I'm in a restaurant, when I'm cooking for myself, or when you have me thinking about this through a recipe. Like when a recipe is made with love, there is an energy of love that now gets handed down in you making the recipe. So it's really cool. Okay, Michelin star. I want to go down this path.
Gonna get me in some trouble. Got it.
No, because we have a foodie family. Yeah. When we travel, we are those people that are like identify where we're going to eat along with. I mean, that's as high of a priority as anything else. So when it comes to Michelin star, of course, we're going to try to find those. But some Michelin star restaurants are like 4 years old, 10 years old. Sure. Some are Michelin noted. Like, so is it really what it's all cracked up to be?
It's an interesting, I've cooked in Michelin restaurants in Europe, in America. It's, you know, it's a point of contention in the culinary community that, you know, what are the criteria for 1 star? Because, you know, a lot of times it seems like the criteria for a 1 star, where you have one in Mexico that's a taco shop. Yeah. God bless them. But then you have a 1 star in New York, and it's a full-on brasserie, and it's like very much not tacos. Like there's a lot going on there that's beyond just, you know, not that tacos are easy or that, you know, but it's there's a weird. It's hard to draw a line between the two, right? Right. And so, or you go to Japan and the 1 stars look like this, and so, you know, look. Is part of, whether it's Michelin or any other award system, I don't care who it is, online or other, is there a PR and marketing component to it? If anyone says no to that, they're either lying to you or they're trying to sell you something. So there is a PR marketing component to it, and that's part of it, so that's fine.
But on which part? Like restaurants want to get it because now it's a great PR.
Well, obviously it's a feather in your cap. Yeah. And it's something that you can, of course, market within, you know, for yourself, saying I'm a Michelin star chef, I have a Michelin star restaurant, and not for nothing. Right. To get that notoriety ain't easy. Right. Like you actually, you know, they don't just go around handing out like candy. You have to work for that, and you have to be good for a long period of time to get that accolade. Interesting. And so I'm not poo-pooing by any means the idea or the institution. Yep. It very much is a noteworthy and very special thing. Yep. But let's be real, and let's talk about for a moment like the whole picture, because, you know, that's the nature of the game. Right. I don't care what the award is. There's always a couple different sides to it you got to look at. Yes. Okay. So then what I've also learned about Michelin star is it's not just the food that they're judging. They're judging the service. Correct. They're judging the environment, what we're talking about. Again, we go back to that word. Yeah. The experience. The experience. It is. There are 1 star experiences, there are 2 star experiences, and there are 3 star experiences. You go to the French Laundry and you plop down that coin and you have that meal, trust me, you are having a 3-star experience.
Yeah.
More often. I can't think of a time that they would have ever dropped the ball, but for the most part, the expectation and the delivery that you receive is a 3-star plus experience, because Thomas Keller is basically God.
Yeah.
So, that being said, it is 100%, like, think of it this way. You go to a restaurant, I don't care where it is, you go to your favorite restaurant, or even a restaurant that is not your favorite that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And the food is great and the service is not even mediocre.
Yeah.
Bad.
Right.
You going back there?
No.
That's not a complete experience. There's a problem there. And therefore, should you get a Michelin star just because your food's good?
No.
I mean, I'm not the head of Michelin. I don't set the rules, but my gut would say no.
Right.
Likewise, you go to a restaurant, whatever restaurant, and the service is incredible. Not for nothing. Chick-fil-A's service, incredible.
Interesting.
Their food's not bad either. Don't get me wrong. They like a fried chicken sandwich. But my point is that, if the service is incredible, but the food is not Michelin star, should they get a Michelin star? Probably not. So it's right that the criteria is beyond just, hey, is the food good, or is the service good, or is the wine list look like something?
Right.
There should be a certain metric for those things. That is, this is the line for this level, this is the line for this level, and so on. Where, not to get too political, but there are, in recent years, they've come to question things like, should a component of those scores, and should the restaurant be graded upon whether they're, from an environmental standpoint,
oh yes, yeah,
doing things that are good or bad.
Right.
On a social level, are they doing things that are good or bad, or not participating? And, that's going to be a question for perhaps more intelligent people than me, but it's a very real question to say, are these things that do or don't make a great restaurant that should be noteworthy?
Yeah. And is all that factored into Michelin? Like, do they think about that, the environmental impact?
They have a green award now as well. So I would imagine if it's not part of the regular rating system, it's certainly part of the green one.
Yeah.
But, for example, you have the James Beard Awards, and you have these other awards within this country and beyond, the San Pellegrino Awards. And I believe that they certainly take a long, hard look at the sorts of things that are compelling and important within the social realm.
Right.
And, it's up for debate whether or how much those things should affect the overall judging. It's an interesting conversation.
And I really do think what I'm gleaming from this is that when we do pick restaurants, thinking of it as an experience, not as a meal, would be really helpful. And then you're getting yourself in, you're getting the full neurochemical expression.
Is it an experience that you feel comfortable and willing to pay for?
Yes, right.
And to take part of, because at the end of the day, when you're going to a restaurant, I don't care what it is, on some level, it's called culinary arts for a reason.
Right.
There is a certain component of it, of the experience, that is entertainment art.
Yes.
And, it's sort of performance art. We used to call it edible temporary art. In a very snooty,
Actually, I think that's a great way to explain it.
Whether it's a pizza on a plate, or it's a fine dining beef Wellington.
Yeah.
There's a component that's edible temporary art that, maybe you're just there because you just wanted a good steak.
Yeah.
But there's a certain performance aspect of that.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
What
do you think about the art of pairing wine with it? Because now you've really taken it to another level.
Sure.
And we love pairing wine. If we sit down in a nice restaurant, we'll do the wine pairing with it. Yeah. And we'll sit, my husband and I will sit and talk about like what we experience. So I'm curious if you think does it heighten it?
As a restaurant owner, I love it because,
yes,
show me the money. Like,
right.
I mean, that's, at the end of the day, your margins on things like wine and it's better than for food. So, but that being said, like, look, again, there are people who travel around the world specifically for that experience of going to great restaurants and having fine wine and being able to, be fluent in conversation around that topic.
Yeah.
And it's, I think there's a dopamine response from a neurochemical standpoint of it heightens that experience, both from an alcoholic standpoint, but otherwise as well, right?
You know what? I recently did some research on this because wine, well, alcohol in general, but wine, it has a couple of interesting qualities. And one of the things is when done in small doses, it brings cortisol down. So if we think about this now, you're sitting in this nurturing environment in this experience of love, of coming to you in food.
Hopefully love.
And you're using food as a tool to enhance a connection with another human or many other humans at the table. You're drinking a glass of wine, you're bringing cortisol down. Like for me, I think that's health. I think all of that is health. But you take wine out of that experience, and now you've got people that are like, alcohol right now is really being bashed as being unhealthy. Okay. And I actually brought this up on Diary of the CEO when I was on the podcast. He asked me what I thought of alcohol. And I said, well, I think there's an upside and a downside. Of course, the downside, it's a poison. It's not great for your brain. But when in the environment we're talking about with good food, good friends, good conversation, the neurochemical change that's happening in all of that is healthy.
And so it's a net positive.
Yes.
And it's one of those things one of those numerous things that can lead to the overall net positive.
That's right. That's right. So I love where we're going with this conversation is because when you go to eat, are you going to eat for a meal or are you going to have an experience? And when you put it through that lens, then all of a sudden price starts changing too. Because you're like, oh, if I was going to a play or I was going to a basketball game where maybe I'm going to pay $1,000 a ticket or a concert, we have no problem paying for that because we're like, that's an experience.
And $42 beers while you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. But then you go to a restaurant, I don't want to pay so much.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's the same experience. It's the same neurochemical reaction in your body.
That's interesting.
And I feel like, again, I'm on a mission to bring food back as this medicine, but it's also the food environment that can be medicine. And paying for it and looking at it through the same lens as a Taylor Swift concert, what might cost you $2,000 a ticket.
I was going to say, Tay-Tay is doing okay with those ticket prices.
She's doing pretty well.
She's beating the French Laundry pretty hard.
That's right. That's right. So I just think we have our values around where we spend our money is really, we spend our money in places that don't promote health. And restaurants like Valencia Gold and the other restaurants that you have owned, started, worked in, I just think it's medicine if we do it right.
I love that.
I bet. I mean, and I know you're about to like start a bunch of new restaurants.
We got some fun things.
But I'd love for you to think of that.
My business partner and I, he's an incredibly intelligent marketing mind and brain. And it's anytime we talk about doing any restaurants and investing our time, our money, it's always a holistic conversation of not just, hey, we're going to make cool food. Hey, we're going to make a cool bar. It's, how does this fit into the neighborhood, the community? What is the why? Yeah. We need to answer the why in order to get to, and part of it is that holistic experience of promoting this the full experience. And that's it. That's everything.
You know, they also, the 5 love languages, they just came up with a new love language, and it's experiences.
Oh, wow.
So, and I keep telling people.
Mine is pizza, steak, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah.